good afternoon, and a very merry welcome back to the Celtic Way, where we are building up to Celtic's live match with Motherwell at Celtic Park later this afternoon. I'm John McGinley. I'm joined by Ryan McGinley, and we've got the team news here. Ryan, do you want to run us through the lineup and
Absolutely.
the changes today?
So Celtic's Boxing Day team to face Motherwell is Kasper Schmeichel in goals. Got a back four of Greg Taylor, Liam Scales, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Tony Ralston left to right. Got the midfield three of Callum McGregor, Paulo Bernardo and Arne Engels, and a front three of Adam Idah up front, supported by Daiser Maeda on the left and Yang Hyun-jun on the right. The subs today are Sinisalo, Trusty, Palma, Kyogo, Kuhn, Baye, McCowan, Hatate and Welsh. So a couple of changes, a couple of people that we're quite happy to see on the bench, I believe. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's still a pretty strong team. Hoping to get a win on the board after last week's draw.
Yeah, four changes in total. I think, obviously the change, Engels and Bernardo coming into the midfield, Deed up front, and then you've got Carter Vickers coming back beside Scales. I think probably the headline news for people will be that Nicholas Kuhn hasn't quite made the starting 11. He had an issue with his knee in the build up to Tannadice, and obviously is fit enough to be featuring on the bench, but Rodgers not quite risking him from the start of the match today.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still so encouraging to see him on the bench. He's such an important player, and I think we all did see how important he is in that starting lineup when he doesn't play, like he did against Dundee United, that he missed out in that game. And Celtic really struggled on the wing. It's great to know that Celtic can bring him on if required today, but I'm hoping it's one of those ones that they only need to bring him on if he's absolutely necessary in the game. I want his rehabilitation to go as smoothly as possible. We've got to be looking at that game against Rangers on January the 2nd as his priority. He's got to be playing in that game for being an outball at Ibrox against Rangers. So as long as he's just developing nicely in the background, I'm quite fine with Yang being in the team today, even though he was a bit anonymous against Dundee United. I like that Rodgers is stuck by his player and giving him another chance, especially at home, to see what he can do. I think he'll go out there with a point to prove today and hopefully puts in a better performance than he did last time out.
Yeah, slightly of a necessity as well. Obviously, James Forrest is out for a good 5 or 6 weeks, so we're missing him. The other disappointment today in terms of the team availability is obviously Alistair Johnston's still out as well. Tony Ralston in place at right back. So Alistair Johnston's situation is a one to watch as well. I think he's got a hip problem, or has at least been playing through some sort of hip pain. So hopefully he's back involved as soon as possible, because I think we really miss his presence on the right flank as well.
Absolutely.
Overall, though, it's as always right now. It's a strong team. It's a team that should be taking care of Motherwell. It'll be very interesting to see how Yang plays. I agree with you. Although I'm saying it's out of necessity, I think Yang has a lot to prove, and there's a lot of perhaps decisions to be made on how effective he is going to be long term for Celtic. He really needs to step up in these moments. Roger spoke a bit about it after Tannadice, in the sense that these guys need to come into the team and perform at the level that the players that they're replacing at. Otherwise, their role will be limited at Celtic. So today's a massive opportunity, another one for Yang to show that he can have a place in this team and be effective and win games for Celtic, because that's what we need from a right winger at this club.
Yeah, I think we just need something tangible from Yang, to be honest, because it's been moments in which he's shown good dribbling ability, but when's the last time he got a goal or an assist for Celtic? I don't even think he's scored for Celtic yet in his career. So, we need something to sort of cling on to with Yang, because we've only seen bits and bobs, and they'll look okay in terms of the dribbling statistics, but we need a goal, we need an assist or something that we can look at and say, right, there's that player, he's developing, because he's clearly doing it in training. He wouldn't be playing if he wasn't doing it in training. So he's clearly impressing the manager. I know that there's injury issues at right wing at the moment. It's such a shame that James Forrest is out for the sort of 5-6 weeks, because he would have been so important in this run of fixtures. Having somebody dependable like that's been there, done it, bought the t-shirt, etc. He's always been like that for Celtic, and he would have been an important player, but unfortunately he's going to be missing for the next month or so. So it's up to Yang to step in. There's been a lot of talk recently in the media about Celtic being in the market for a winger. It's the next couple of weeks. It's about these players that are coming into the team. They need to show why Celtic are wrong to be doing that and wrong to be going and buying more wingers. They want to be able to prove that the answers are there already. They're already at the club, rather than Celtic needing to go and buy more wingers. In an ideal world for me, I would want Celtic to buy a new winger, particularly on the left-hand side. But, you're looking at the right as well, and when you take Kuhn out of that starting lineup, it's not as strong. So there needs to be a bit of balance, but I'm just hoping that the wingers today can really deliver. I'd love to see Yang put in a really good performance today and sort of not silence the doubters, but show people what he's made of, really. Because that Dundee United game, I look at that chance in particular that he had. Don't know if it was a cross. I don't know if it was a shot. It was in between the two, and people have really clinged on to that over the past few days. That's the sort of moment that they'll remember from Yang. So it's all about him trying to rewrite things and really showing a good impression in front of the Celtic support today. No better time than on Boxing Day against Motherwell.
It can be difficult for players because supporters do hang on to moments, but that is something that if Kuhn's in that position, you feel like he's cutting that back or doing something a bit more productive with it, or finding Kyogo at least. In the middle, just the same. Adam Idah obviously has made much more of an impact than Yang has in his time at Celtic, but mostly as an impact substitute. Now I think it's something like 600 minutes. He's played fewer than Kyogo this season. He's got the same amount of goals, both 8 goals each, and we really need Idah to step up and show that he can do it from the start of games too, and that would be fantastic to see from him as well. Kyogo's still Celtic's best forward in my opinion, but you're wanting Idah in that second position to push Kyogo, and if he puts in a good performance today, perhaps he gets another start at the weekend, and then you're thinking about whether he's going to play at Ibrox. So Idah's got it's a big day for Idah, is what I'm trying to say. We'll want to see Idah make a big, strong impact from the start today.
Yeah, he likes a goal against Motherwell. I remember 2 goals in particular that he scored last season that were absolutely massive in the makeup of Celtic's title challenge and then subsequent win. Particularly that header that he scored, which was incredible. I think it was just after half-time, in which he really did send a message out to Motherwell that Celtic weren't there to just mess about. They were going to get those 3 points, and they certainly did on that occasion. Idah, I just want to see him get a run in the team, to be honest, because the statistics are pretty good in terms of the amount of minutes that he's played with the amount of goals that he's scored. I just want to see him get some proper service today and really running, beating the last man and getting through on goal. You don't really see a lot of clear-cut chances anymore with Celtic. I was thinking about this. How many times did we watch Gary Hooper or Anthony Stokes go one-on-one in front of the goalkeeper? You'd always get those chances. Seems as if Celtic don't get as many of them in games anymore. So the role of a striker, and you've only got one of them up front, so you would think that automatically they'd get more chances because it's just the one of them rather than 2. Doesn't really work like that. So he's got to take his chances when they come around. I hope that if he does get that chance in front of goal, he'll take it with both hands and feet and get a goal and really put an impression in. I think these players have got to be playing with the mindset that if you have a good couple of performances here, you're in the team for Ibrox against Rangers. They all want to play at Ibrox. It's just about what 11 Brendan Rodgers picks. And if Adam Idah can get a couple of goals today and a couple of goals on Sunday against St Johnstone, then he'll put himself in pole position to lead the line at Ibrox, in my opinion, anyway.
What I'm looking for Arne Engels today is, again, I think he needs to be running beyond the defensive line, trying to make that extra run into the box, arriving in the box with good timing. We want to see him kind of produce that kind of goal-scoring midfielder. I think that's what Rodgers fancies him for, to kind of fill that hole. Obviously, Matt O'Reilly was outstanding last season, and it's hard to replicate that in your first few months at the club. But we're wanting to see Arne Engels make those runs, support Yang, support Maeda, support Idah, and really be a terror for that Motherwell defence. That's what we want from Arne Engels, and hopefully Bernardo and McGregor could be good support there. I mean, I like the look of the team today. I've got no issues with it, and the changes or the positions that you would say will have deficiency are enforced. So I don't think Rodgers has gone with a poor team today, and we've got a really strong. I think the bench is looking really strong as well, Ryan. We know how important that is in the age of 5 subs. We've got real game changers on that bench. Luke McCowan, Kyogo himself. Like there's talent on that bench to win this for us if we need it in the second half as well.
Yeah, just looking at that bench, I think it's the strongest it's been in a good wee while. Even players like Palmer can come on and make a difference. You've got Kyogo, Kuhn, Bailly, McCowan, Hatate, Welsh as well. If you need defensive reinforcements too, so there's definitely options for Celtic to bring off the bench. But you're just hoping that this starting 11 can get the job done pretty quickly, and then it's just all about rotation that come on rather than players needing to come on that need to go and change the game. I want them to be coming on because they need minutes rather than they need to change the outcome of the game or they need to secure a win or get a goal back or something like that. I just want that starting 11 to do the business today. After 60 minutes, you can bring some of the guys on and get them some game time, and then you'll rotate a wee bit against St Johnstone. that game on the second's massive. I know we've got another game after this, and we've got the game today, but it's all about Celtic being in good form for that game at Ibrox. I just want them to get as clear as possible. You've got 2 home games. You'd say it's favourable opposition that they're playing against, although you've got to take every game seriously. 2 wins, get yourself in that derby in the best possible position, and you never know what can happen. Maybe the other side of the city can drop some points as well because they've got away games. So we'll see what happens, but I'm confident in the team that Brendan Rodgers has picked today. There's so much quality, as much as there's some injuries. The midfield is still so strong. It's ridiculous.
I'm a bit hesitant looking too far ahead. I don't think you can take today for granted at all. I've seen some shocker Boxing Day performances. Or shocker Boxing Day games in general.
Do you remember Partick Thistle at home being one of the worst games I've ever been at after Christmas?
Yeah. Some of the football sometimes isn't pretty this time of year, especially after Christmas. I know the players train and I know footballers are used to the Christmas schedule, but the reality is that sometimes Boxing Day matches can be difficult to kind of get beyond the routine of it. And hopefully, but Celtic may come up and fire in a few goals today. That would be perfect. But today they're going to have to be at this, because I don't think you can really take any game for granted now, because the way teams play against Celtic is to frustrate and stifle creativity, and if you let it get to 70, 80 minutes, it suddenly becomes nervous. You're waiting on the one chance and you might not convert it. So I'm not banking these 6 points before Ibrox and thinking it's all about Ibrox. I think the team have to put in a really strong shift today, I think, to get the job done, and hopefully that's what we see. Predictions today, Ryan. What's your thoughts on how the game will pan out?
I think Celtic will win the game because they've drawn. If you look at the actual the statistics and the amount of results that Celtic have got just now, that their last 3 games have drawn every single game. We've got Zagreb, we've got Rangers. I know they beat Rangers on penalty shootout, but it was 3 each. And then a draw at the weekend against Dundee United. So I'd like them to get back to winning ways, and I'd like them to score quite a few goals if they possibly can today. It might be a cagey affair. They might need to be patient, but I think they've got the firepower that's required. I'm going to go for 3-0 Celtic. I'm not going to go crazy with my prediction saying it's 5 or 6, because Celtic haven't really been doing that recently. But I do think they've got enough firepower both in the starting lineup and on the bench to cause Motherwell some problems today. I can't see Idah not scoring against Motherwell, put it that way.
I mean, I'm going 2-0. I'll be a bit more reserved. Just in the way Katana dies, I know that some of the creativity is an issue for the Celtic at the moment against Zagreb. But if we can get that early goal, then I think we can score 2 or 3. So, I mean, I would be happy that hopefully Motherwell don't cause that defence too many problems. Scales and Carter Vickers pretty strong together. Greg Taylor good at Scottish Premiership level, and Tony Ralston will put in as much as he can put into the game as he always does. So I'm not too concerned about not getting a result today, but hopefully Celtic are just at this from the off, because I think it's one of those games that you could drift away from you and the crowd get a bit restless. It has that feeling in it. But yeah, I'm confident of a Celtic victory, and hopefully we hear more from. Obviously, the news has been limited over the last few days with kind of the players and the manager, coming away from the media, stepping away from the media a little bit. So hopefully we hear an update on players like Alistair Johnston later, and we get a sense of how the squad is looking going into the new year. Lots happening. Once these festive fixtures end, then we have the derby. Then we're into the January transfer window. There will be a lot happening, and it's just important that the keep picking up points and keep picking up the 3 points at a time of the year where it's easy to take your eye off the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. On Sunday, they were so dominant in the game for large parts, but they just couldn't get that decisive goal, and it was really disappointing, especially with the chances that they had towards the end to really get the goal against Dundee United. But they're still in a really great position. I'd also take into account the scoreboard pressure as well. I know Brendan Rodgers has been using that quite a bit, but Rangers play right after Celtic in this game. You can't give them any more encouragement than they already need. It's time to put that pressure on Rangers once again by getting the 3 points and making sure that when they play at 5:45, I believe, they need to go and win, to keep that pressure on. So for Celtic, it's a home game. They'll have loads of fans there. They'll be having fans that are desperate for a bit of festive cheer in the form of Celtic goals. And I just hope that they can deliver a good performance today. I think we want to see the 3 points, but we also want to see a good performance from Celtic as well. Something to cling on to as we go into more of the festive fixtures in a couple of days' time as well.
Yeah, so that'll do us for the build up show. We'll be back after the game with live reaction to whatever happens at Celtic Park. Ryan, you're on your way into Celtic Park, and we'll have all the chat after it, and we'll have full coverage on the website as well, and hear from Rogers on the website and all that good stuff. So, yeah, we'll say goodbye for now. I've got it 2-0, Ryan's got 3-0, so hopefully it is that kind of good afternoon for Celtic where we're all feeling pretty calm after full time and there's no drop points or any Christmas drama. Let's keep it nice and festive, shall we say, Ryan? I'll say goodbye to you now,
Absolutely.
Ryan. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for joining me as always. Thanks for everyone joining us live, or if you're checking out later, as always, you can subscribe and follow the Celtic Way and everything that we do, and we appreciate it. But until full time, goodbye.
Thanks, guys.